Should I tell my friend what her husband asked me? I apologize if the title is a little misleading. It's not as bad as it makes it seem, but still pretty terrible. So my friend has an unreliable partner who is now her husband. They've had problems regarding his insensitivity and unreliability. Basically, her husband doesn't want to do anything that inconveniences his comfort and fun. So if it means thinking about other people, namely her, and having to do something instead of, say, playing with his band or watching TV, he doesn't want to do it. Well, my friend is having surgery on Friday. A pretty serious surgery that will incapacitate her for about 8 weeks. I told her I would be there on the day of and hang out until she was out of surgery. It's going to be a long day, but I promised her that I would be there. Her husband is going to be taking her in and all that. Her and I had a discussion over the weekend about his ability to step up to the plate and take care of her while she is recovering. She will need help with walking and managing her meds so that she can stay ahead of the pain. I told her I did not trust him at all to be there for her and that I will be texting him often to make sure he is doing his job. She was all, "No, he's going to step up to the plate. I trust him." At first, she didn't, and had planned to make meals for herself so he could heat them up for her and then clean the house for him. And then yesterday, she told me she wasn't going to do any of that, and she's going to trust he will take care of her. Man, this is going to go so well. I trust him as well, guys. He just asked me if I would take care of her the day after surgery so he could go hang out with his friends. The day after. The first day recovering, and he's already ready to bounce. I thought about it, fuming, and concluded that no, I would not do that for him. He promised her that he would take care of her, and B, I don't want to set a precedent that he will just call on me when he wants to ditch her, because I can see that happening very easily, and C, if he told her now what he was planning, it would have caused a fight between them 2 days before her surgery, and she's already anxious about that. I didn't want to add to it. If this was week 2 and he needed a break, I totally get it and would be over there, but this is day 1. Now the question is, do I tell her about this? Not now, obviously, but when she's well enough to receive it. In the comments, Emotional Snail says, "You most likely won't have to tell her. She'll figure out just how unreliable he is within a week after the surgery, and if he's able to keep it going, then good for him. Maybe it's for the better." Well, apparently she's going to find out how he's letting her down within 24 hours of the surgery. Yes, tell her. Neutrally. As if it's not an issue. This is how I'd play it. "Hey, your husband let me know that he was looking for help on day 2, and I'm sorry I'm not free, but if you are really desperate, you can call me after X time. You can do her a favor after he has failed. He gets no favors. Consider being free that day when she calls, because you know he's almost certainly gonna bail on her anyway. Maybe over meal prep a bit so that you can leave a few things in her freezer, but only after he has failed to feed her. Let him fail first and then help her. Never ever cover for him in advance. Be luckily able to help when he doesn't perform. She has to feel his failure first. Unfortunately, nothing but that anxiety and suffering is going to teach her." OP says, "Good idea. Letting him fail first, and he will. I am seriously wondering if he will find a way to leave her on Saturday, and his friend knows his wife is having surgery? Why would you ask if he could come out knowing that? What the hell?" His buds probably all treat their wives the same way. Oof. The narcissism and self-centeredness are literally dripping off this guy. I would say you keep it to yourself. She's already deluded herself. Telling her might push her into a defensive mindset and have the opposite effect. It'll be better to let him fail at it and let her break her own delusions surrounding her husband. That man-child will dig himself a hole in the upcoming 8 weeks, and hopefully she'll be the light at the end. If she doesn't, your words wouldn't have changed anything anyway. Be as supportive as you can, but anytime the husband is involved, pull back and let him fail before you step in. At the same time, for your sake, some boundaries need to be set so that you can protect yourself and step back when it all comes crumbling down. It's not your relationship, so it shouldn't drag you down with it. OP says, very true about setting boundaries. Back up to the post. Update. Turns out that I didn't have to tell her. He told on himself. I just got a message from her about it. Let's see how this goes. I'll keep y'all updated. Another update. Well, he told her that he asked me to, as he put it, babysit her. She is upset, but mostly I think she's just tired and disappointed in him. I asked her if he told her to test the waters and see if he could just leave while she was sleeping. She said yes because he said, "You'll just be sleeping, right?" I asked her what she said to him, and she said nothing, and finally he worked it out himself that since it was her first day home, he should stay with her. I told her that when she is better, she has decisions to make. She said in his mind, he thinks he can get someone to babysit her and do the fun thing, and then in his mind it's a win-win. I told her he's a selfish prick. Yeah, just straight from the get-go, this guy is a piece of shit. Oh yeah, she's one day out of surgery. I'm just gonna piss off, actually. How about I get someone else to look after my wife so I can go out and have fun? My friends that are also cool with me dipping out on my wife, who might need me at the drop of a hat, mind you. I'll just get someone else to look after her. I mean, it's their job anyway. It's not my job as her husband. In sickness and in health? What the fuck does that mean? I'm legally blind. I'm a stupid husband and I don't know what my vows were. Because I can always get someone else to do the babysitting, as I call it. Grinding my gears with that one. That is... I don't know why she's with him. Genuinely, why would you stay with someone like this? This is not small bananas. This is genuinely a relationship-breaking personality flaw of his. Oh, you'll just be sleeping, right? I don't need to be here to look after you. I can go out with my mates. I hate this guy. I genuinely hate this. He is a bad person. She should leave him. And now, on to the update. Hello. The surgery went well, so I will start there. It was a long day, and she didn't get home until after midnight. She told me that her husband was doing a great job when I checked in on her on Saturday, and when I checked in on Sunday, he was still holding strong, and then came Sunday evening. She sent me a message that his care was slipping, but not to message him about it. However, he's working from home right now, which was up in the air last week. Hopefully he will do that the rest of the week. I told her on Friday that if she asks me for something, to come over, do something for her, etc., that I will do it, but not if he asks. I will not bail him out. And she agreed with me on that. He has a class on Wednesday evening that he teaches, so she asked me if I could come over while he is gone. I'll get even more intel then, I am sure. She did say he was pretty shaken on Saturday when he saw how weak she was and how difficult it is for her to move around. Hopefully he will stay the course, but who knows? Thank you for all who commented on my last post. I told her about it and she got a kick out of it. I will say that he did try to float the idea to her on Wednesday night of going out because she'd be sleeping anyway. She told him that I refused to babysit her because I felt it was inappropriate for him to bail on her after her surgery. He shrugged. She told him that she agreed with me and that he has a history of not being there when she needs him and bailing when things get hard, so this was an opportunity for him to step up to the plate. We shall see what happens. In the comments, she sent me a message that his care was slipping but not to message him about it. I hope this friend doesn't cave under the notion of, well, he did more than I expected. And OP says, same. Their entire relationship has been incredibly imbalanced. He can't even be bothered to remember her birthday, and as of this year, be there for it. She needs to get out of that relationship while she still can. It's not going to get any better. And OP says, I don't think it's going to happen anytime soon, or ever. I've known her for over 10 years, and she's talked about leaving him for lesser infractions, and it still hasn't happened. I don't believe she will until she does. You know what I mean? When he's constantly negotiating the least amount of effort that she will accept, it speaks volumes to his lack of quality. It's so unfair. His refusal to care for her body when in such a vulnerable state is a refusal to care for her heart as well. Nobody's heart should be breaking when their body is in a fight to recover. Would he accept this from her if the tides were reversed? I think not. May this kind of love never find me or any of you. Hear, hear. I'm so glad my husband is better than this and has been someone that I've been able to, at some points physically, lean on. People like this guy disgust me. It really isn't that much of a burden to take care of someone after surgery, let alone your partner. What a scumbag. Yeah, this relationship dynamic is barely a step above disdain. Like, how can you care so little about your spouse, especially after surgery? Seems a lot like hate. I agree, and that's why I had such a visceral reaction to this one, because even after this update, I'm convinced that she just won't leave him because he hasn't given her enough reason to, and I don't see how him refusing to look after her and continually trying to get out of it, shrugging at the notion that he's not doing a good job, is not enough for her to see in plain daylight that there is a significant imbalance in their relationship that he does not want to address because it benefits him so much and she's just accepted it for the better part of 10 years. That's crazy. Yeah, may that kind of love never find me, that's all I'm saying. Keep being there to support her, OP. Keep doing your best to be that support that she can trust and lean on, but don't be surprised if this continues for a lot longer than it should. I really wonder where the breaking point is going to be for them, if ever. Thank you for the story, thank you for the update. Best of luck with that. Our next post is by user Jane Oh My, and it's titled, I, 29 female, think my significant other, 30 male, is poisoning me, but I'm not sure and I don't know what to do. For some background, I am a generally fit, active and healthy 29-year-old female who gets sick maybe only once a year, and lasts at most 2 days before I'm back on my feet. I've been with my significant other, 30 male, for over a year now, and we haven't had any major fights at all. However, starting 5 months ago or so, my significant other has been sending me food that either he or his family has prepared, and also various supplements, which I take from time to time. And call me crazy, but I've noticed my health start to decline. I'm less able to work out, and I've gotten sick frequently. Note that I've been cooking and eating my own food all this time. I don't eat deliveries or whatnot, and have not fallen sick at all. Also note that he and his family can cook. This isn't one of those amateurish cooking food poisoning kind of thing. My significant other has access to both hospital supplies and agricultural supplies. His family has versatile professions. I've taken a stool test one time I got sick, but that came back normal, so I thought that I might just be overthinking it. I have absolutely no way of knowing for sure. Nonetheless, I have gotten sick again, and I ordered some delivery. The next day I felt much better, however, my significant other brought over some more food the next day, which I ate, and lo and behold, I got a bit sicker the next day. As for the motive, I don't know at all. I'm not parasitic, and I shower them with gifts regularly to acknowledge and reciprocate their goodwill. I'm keeping them from finding out my suspicions, but yeah. How should I proceed? Edit. No, I do not have food intolerances or food allergies. The food he brings are standard dishes that I've eaten from other sources in the past. In the comments, username Zahad says, the next day you're feeling sick, go to an emergency response and explain the situation. Maybe they'll do extra tests so you can figure out what's going on. If they're poisoning you or not, this is a change that should be figured out. OP says, but it doesn't cause me to be really sick. Just some kind of nauseating inconvenience and weakness. Not really ER-worthy. Karina Vet replies, urgent care then. But whether this is poisoning, an allergy, or something else, it is consistent and involves your health, and you need to figure out what's going on. Yeah, I completely agree with that one. I think we need a lot more evidence from something like urgent care to confirm OP's suspicions, because if it is consistently happening every time OP gets food from them, I think that is enough correlation to get causation here. But without solid evidence from further testing, it's hard to really pin it on them. You can yell at them all you want and say, every time I eat your food, I'm sick, it's weakening me, I don't want your food anymore. Unfortunately, I feel like that really isn't enough to go on, even though in my heart of hearts I believe it should be enough. Another solution you could try here is just accepting the food, not eating it, and then throwing it out and pretending you've eaten it. Who knows how that would escalate in the future when you're forced to sit down with them and they've potentially poisoned something that they are serving you at the dinner table? Yes, that's a crazy conspiratorial thought, but hey, reality is stranger than fiction. If I were you, I would just take the advice of the comments and get further testing done when you've got those symptoms. Good luck. And now, on to the update. Original context. In the past, I asked what I can do with the relationship if I had a nagging sense that either my significant other or his family was poisoning me. The reason for this nagging sense was that I consistently experienced 2 episodes of food poisoning symptoms that progressed 100% exactly the same way. Chills, headaches, and becoming bedridden, all 3 to 4 days after consuming the food. Some Redditors said that maybe I needed to get help, to see a psychologist or a psychiatrist, or to get therapy. That it was all in my mind. I am well familiar with Reddit's, or the internet overall's, misogyny, but I gave everything the benefit of the doubt. My personality just makes me think this way. Some Redditors even commented that this must be fake or that I must be trolling. My post was then locked down and I couldn't reply anymore. More helpful Redditors told me simply to not eat the food prepared for me. Sure, except it does nothing for the relationship aspect. Update. After several months, my ex finally admitted to it. The way I found out was when I confronted my ex outright. Although he tried deflecting and gaslighting at the start, I firmly kept pressing and he finally admitted to it. It turns out that his mother had been lacing the food with some chemical compound from their farm. From the original post, his mother one day started packing food for me, and I started getting sick. At first, I thought that it was COVID. However, when I went to see the doctor, he said outright that what I had was not COVID. Furthermore, tests concluded that I in fact did not have COVID. And then I got sick again, and the progression of the sickness went exactly the same way. Exactly the same. The symptoms and the duration. By this time, I definitely felt something was up. After days of just throwing the food prepared for me and not getting sick ever again, when my ex came over, I finally confronted him. As usual, he tried to weasel his way out, but I put my foot down. He admitted that his mother did not like me, that she thought that I was taking him away from her. The conversation went something like this. I said, "What? Take you away from her? What the hell does that even mean?" And he says, "I don't know." I say, "But her conclusion is to poison me?" My ex just turned and looked away and stopped making eye contact. I felt a nagging sense that something wasn't right and didn't make much sense. So I ask, "So why didn't you say anything all this time?" And he says, "I told her to stop." And I asked, "And how do we know that she stopped?" At this point, he was shocked. His shock shocked me. Something was definitely wrong. I said, "I stopped eating the food that you guys have been preparing for me and just threw them out instead. I haven't had any problems since." He didn't say anything, so I asked, "But why? Why all this? You knew." Actually, at this point, I just wanted everything to be done with, but I knew I had to keep pressing to get the answers I wanted to find closure. After a while, he finally admitted. He was the one who wanted it. He wanted a way out of the relationship. He had started casually conversing with another woman and said that he maybe wanted to be with her. His conclusion was to have his mother prepare food and lace them with chemicals from the farm. What the fuck was I hearing? So I asked, "So why need to poison me? Why not just tell me?" He thought that if I was sick long enough, he would find an excuse to say that the relationship wasn't working. What the actual fuck? At this point, it went without saying that I was beyond just upset. This was a fucking crime being admitted to. He also said he never thought that I would be that sick, but that I would just be lethargic and felt overwhelmed. He expected me to break up with him too. Well, I did that anyway. He pleaded with me not to call the cops on him or his mother, and I said I'll think about it and made him leave my place. The audacity of this guy. I have since broken up with him and moved on with my life. In the comments, PM Me Teeth and Tits says, "He'll do this to someone else if you don't call the cops on him." OP says, "I do have plans, but I honestly don't really want to deal with any more of this shit. Don't wait too long. I know you're trying to heal, but you need to go to the cops like yesterday. They need to be able to collect evidence like yesterday." Oh hell nah, call the cops. That is so criminal. I came here to say this. In my small town, a teenage girl would make curried egg sandwiches for her parents for lunch who would get violently ill afterwards. She eventually did it to one of their workers as well, who went to the hospital extremely unwell. Turns out she was lacing their sandwiches with Roundup to poison her parents over an argument they had. The police were called, against her parents' wishes, and she was charged. This reminds me of something that I read where a woman was being poisoned by her mother-in-law. Every time they got together at a family dinner, she'd be sick afterwards. Finally, they went to a meal once where the mother put some dipping sauce on each person's place, so she swapped her and her husband's sauces. When they got home, her husband got sick. When she told him what she did, he looked at her with absolute disdain, and she realized he was in on it. I don't think they ever provided the motivation, but that was really fucked up. Yes, I read that same thing years ago. It was in a Dear Prudence column on Slate.com, and maybe also ran in the Washington Post. That has always haunted me. I think it was just a source for prime rib that the woman finally swapped with her husband, pursuant to which he got violently ill. Mictlan Dark says, "Basically, he didn't want to be the bad guy by ending the relationship for no apparent reason, so he decided to really be the bad guy by poisoning his girlfriend. Why do I have to share the world with these people? But also, how did he think it would look if he ditched her while ill? Like, if my new date tells me, oh yeah, my previous relationship ended when she said she was overwhelmed by some mystery affliction causing her to barf, have vertigo, and lose her hair and her teeth, so when she said she was having a hard time, I agreed to dip. I'm not wiping away a tear that he's such a good guy, even if I don't clock that he's lying and was in fact poisoning her." All of that and then some. What is wrong with people? I knew that my distrust in society was founded. Look at that. People do poison you at the dinner table, and everyone can be in on it. It's a dirty world out there. It's a world that I don't trust. I'm gonna be like Putin and just only eat my own food. Nothing that anyone ever makes for me because they're gonna poison me. But yeah, even with that framing, like that commenter just pointed out, that is no grounds for a breakup, because how do you genuinely explain that to the next person that you date? Oh yeah, I had to break up with her because she got ill and I dipped. I do not believe in the premise of in sickness and in health. Mess me with that. Can we just grab these people, shake them and be like, it's okay to break up with someone if you're not feeling the relationship anymore. You don't have to go all pinky in the brain on it. You can be normal and just walk out. The world doesn't have to be black and white, she bad, I have to be good when leaving the relationship. You can be the bad guy sometimes, without having to poison people. It's okay. Anyway, those are my feelings on it. I want to know how you guys feel about it. Anyway, guys, that's where I'm going to end today's episode. I do hope you enjoyed. If you did, let me know what you thought of it in the comments down below, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.